What's up, everyone? We're back with Perseverance to Prevail podcast. I'm James.
I'm Leanna.
And today, our topic's going to be finding joy.
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk about your joys, or what makes you happy, or how you feel like you should have something that fulfills your life, or...
I think you should get us started. This was your idea for a topic, so I'm putting you in the hot seat, babe.
I got to do this all the time. Anyway, all right, so once again, I do all my best thinking when I'm in my car, apparently. I don't know. So I was thinking, a positive subject or conversation. Joys, like what makes you happy, like finding the balance in life of like having your own personal time, or what makes you happy. And for me, I've got a lot of outlets, luckily, whether it be horror movies, music, MMA, doing jiu-jitsu at Kamikaze MMA makes me really happy. And it gives me a peace of mind. It gives me clarity. Like going to the gym also gives me the same peace of mind and the same clarity. And it also just brings this fulfillment of joy to my life, like I'm doing something, or that brings me this inner peace that I don't think a lot of people try to have.
Or don't know how to start to even find it.
Yeah, or don't know how to start, or are too scared to start.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I think it's very like a necessity. Because this world is very dark and gloomy, and if you're listening to this, you might have a job you like, or a career you like, or you might have a job or a career that you fucking despise. And if you are in that situation where you hate it, it's very hard to be in a positive mindset when you don't have a joyful outlet.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I guess want to accomplish with this episode. Try to think of things that bring you joy, or what makes you happy, as long as it doesn't hurt nobody else, obviously. I don't condone drinking or drugs, but, like going on a walk, or going to the gym, painting, arts and crafts, restoring old furniture, whatever it may be. I encourage you to go find something that brings joy in your life. Because when you have joy or a passion about something, it brings a peace of mind to you. And there's nothing like it.
Yeah, I feel like so we don't share notes, so I don't know what he has written down. He doesn't know what I have written down. And you almost verbatim just read my list of ideas for people. If you don't know where to start, like just a list of things that, like hobbies, basically, like photography, art, woodworking, restoring furniture, even like learning a new instrument, cooking, reading. Like there's so many things that you could try. And one of the things I think is important to remember too, when you're starting a new hobby, you might start one that isn't a good fit for you, and you realize that. And I just want to encourage you, like, don't get discouraged with that, and just, okay, well, that wasn't it, so put that down and try something new.
Yeah, at least you tried it.
Yeah.
That's more effort than a lot of people put in. There's nothing wrong with, trying something and failing at it.
Right.
I mean, the worst that could come of it is that you are not either A, good at it, or B, you don't want to do it. It's not what you thought it was.
Right. And, like, take that pressure off of yourself of, like, I have to succeed or fail, or I might have failure in this. Take the pressure off, because what this is for is to find something that brings you joy and brings you happiness and brings you peace. There's no competition in this. There's no right or wrong. And like we said, if you find something and it's not a good fit for you, that's perfectly fine. Just set it down. Try something new until you find something that brings you that sense of purpose and sense of peace that you can add to your free time.
Yeah, I mean, the outcome that you should get out of this is personal growth.
Right.
Because if you're just sitting there drowning in negativity and despair and negative thoughts, you're gonna digress
Mentally, physically.
Yeah, mentally, physically, to the point where you're just kind of in purgatory. You're just living. Not even. I wouldn't even call it living life. You're just there.
You're just existing.
Yeah, you're just existing, and
life can be so much more beautiful.
It can, and I was at that point of just existing. At one point, how many times can I say point? With just, the concept of existing, it's miserable. Like, it's no way you should ever want to live your life. Like, you should always be striving to be better at something. Like, and keep in mind that you're going to fail, and there's nothing wrong with it. Tom from Kamikaze MMA, I remember, I don't know, it was like, excuse me, 1 or 2 months after getting in there. No, excuse me. Backtrack. The first jiu-jitsu tournament I did, he said, "You did good. Just remember that it's not a loss if you make a lesson out of it." And, I lost, I didn't get the results that I wanted, but I didn't stop. You got to keep moving forward no matter what. So you just got to keep moving forward even though, you lost. And it's kind of a bitter pill to swallow because everybody wants to win, nobody wants to lose. So that's, one of those things. But I think in finding something you enjoy, you also find yourself.
Yeah, you learn more about yourself.
Yeah, you kind of like learn your limits. You kind of surprise yourself of how you can push yourself further than you thought you could sometimes.
For sure.
And then sometimes you get results and you're like, wow, I did that.
Yeah, there's like a sense of accomplishment.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. It's a great sense of accomplishment. And you did it. There's nothing like it.
Yeah, I mean, I think about when we're hanging out in our living room, James and I built a custom record stand table thing. Yeah. I don't know how to describe that really, but I saw the idea on Etsy and it was super expensive, and I just looked at it and I was like, I think we could build something that will fit our home and our style, and it's something we could do together. So we put our minds together, made it happen. We built the entire thing ourselves, and now, like, I catch myself looking at that and I'm like, we did that. We made that, and it's a beautiful piece in our home.
Yeah, honestly, I forget that we built it sometimes until looking at it. I'm like, oh yeah, we built that.
Yeah, like, because it looks like something that you could find at an expensive ass store.
Oh, you would, yeah. But we did it. Mm-hmm. And I'm not really a builder. I wasn't one.
And then you bought a home.
Then I bought a home. Oh my God.
And I give him lots of projects.
Man. But it's okay, because it's something that I didn't think I was good at for forever, and something I didn't think would be enjoyable. But yet now I'm like, we go to Goodwill and thrift stores like that, and I'm like, I can fix that.
I can make that so much better.
Yeah, I can make this into something modern looking. It's kind of like a new hobby that I like.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's something that brings me enjoyment, and I didn't even know. I mean,
you don't know until you try.
Yeah, 100%. And I could have fucked up the I don't know what the hell record table. Excuse me. ugh, damn monster. But luckily the first attempt was successful. There's been a couple things that we've done that haven't been so great, but the majority of it is
worked out better than
it worked out better than I ever thought it would. And I never in a million years would have thought I'd been that guy, that likes to do like little home projects and stuff like that. But I do. It brings me happiness. It brings me enjoyment. It's just adding to one of those things of like, what's the word? Hobbies. Yeah. It's just one of those hobbies that I add to the list that bring me happiness, brings me enjoyment, brings me a sense of accomplishment.
Yeah, and I think like one of the great things about hobbies is that they challenge your mind, they challenge your body. It helps you grow your skills and mindset and continue to develop as a person.
Absolutely. I think it's necessary to have a balance of things you enjoy in life.
Yeah, because you work so hard at, like, everyone that I know, like, they just work so hard at their jobs, and whether you like it or you don't, and then you come home, you have to find things that bring fulfillment to your life outside of work.
You do. You do. Because the thing with finding something that brings you joy outside of work can bring you joy inside your work.
Mm-hmm. It almost like refuels you.
Yeah, exactly. Like, for me, like doing successful things or doing things that fulfill my life and make life enjoyable has a positive effect on my job. Even though, some days I don't want to go to the prison because I'm on day 5 of 7, and it's tiring, but I'm still finding things to do to keep me happy and motivated.
Right, and I think it like helps to give you more patience when you're at work, when you do have these outlets at home. It
does. It definitely does. Because when I wasn't doing anything, it was affecting me. I noticed I was like more short with people. I was not really thinking about positive things. I was just focused on like negative thoughts, and it felt like I was Eeyore, just,
well,
dark days.
Yeah. So you have firsthand, account of just the positive effects on your mental health that pursuing hobbies and pursuing things that bring you joy bring into, and how it affects your whole life.
Yeah, 100%.
Speaking from experience, not just from...
Yeah, not just, I'm not telling you to do something I wouldn't do myself.
Mm-hmm. I would love to talk about, some things that I have been trying recently. So I used to be I was very much a plant mama, and I had several plants that I just tended to and cared for, and it brought me a lot of joy. And then I went through a big life transition, a lot of moving, and I only kept one plant from the whole thing. It's my baby, my pride and joy, my monstera. But I got so busy in this last season of life I'm in nursing school. My job that I work on the weekends is an hour and a half away. And I work 12-hour days when I'm there to make it worth the drive. So I got so busy that I kind of let my hobbies and things that bring me joy and peace slip to the wayside. And I started to notice the effect that it was having on me. So I've started pursuing back into that. We started our own compost, which sounds so silly, but I was so excited to find the worms. Like, it... James is laughing at me because I literally did like a happy dance.
You started the compost.
I started a compost, yes.
I didn't start a compost. I've never thought to do a damn compost.
No, but I'm preparing for the next season of gardening because I want to grow our own vegetables. And, you know, we try to stick to a pretty healthy diet, and there's nothing like homegrown vegetables.
Yeah.
And there's something like, honestly, healing to my soul, working outside, putting my hands in the dirt, working with plants. It's just healing for me. So I think, you know, I'm setting myself up for success by starting a compost. Not only does it reduce our waste from the house, but it also is putting it back into growing our food source. And something about that just makes me really excited. And I also, he laughed at me because I took some clippings from a plant that I saw at my doctor's office and put it in some water. And I told him, I was like, it's going to grow roots. And he's like, it's not going to grow roots. But guess what? It grew roots.
I knew it was going to grow roots. Just like busting your ovaries.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, it's just like, I mean, it goes back to elementary school when you put the lima bean in a bag and watch it grow. Like, yeah. I know how it works.
Sure you do, now that there's roots growing.
Oh, no. I was like, throw the damn thing away, it's dead.
It's not dead, don't touch my plant.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now it has roots, and in probably a week or two, I'll be able to plant it and have this whole new plant brought to life. But yeah, so I'm finding joy in that. You already mentioned, you know, we do a lot of house projects, and so I've got some restoration ideas for furniture pieces that we found. Mm-hmm. Super looking forward to that. And I really, I'll say this for the accountability of it, but I really want to get back into photography. That brought me so much joy. It was such a fun passion of mine, and I haven't done that in a long time. So that's something that I am looking forward to exploring again.
You know what you could do? You could come with me to the gym, take gym pictures. I'm sure they would love you taking professional.
Connie and Tom are cool with it.
I ain't even got to ask them. I know that they would be fine. As long as it looks good.
As long as it looks good.
As long as you get the good sides.
I'll get your good side, baby.
I ain't got no good sides.
Your whole, every side of you is a good side. What are you talking about?
Lies.
Hey, we don't negative self-talk here.
Whatever. There's sides. There. But seriously, like, if you don't have something, I suggest you try to find something that makes you happy. Now, I know everybody's going to be like, well, I don't like to go to the gym, and I don't like a lot of... I'm
not an artsy person.
Yeah, I'm not an artsy person. I've got mixed emotion about video games, personally. I think that video games is a good escape from life. I think that there's nothing wrong, but don't let it get to the point where it consumes your life.
Yeah, there's going to be a balance there, for sure.
Yeah. And that's with anything. You know, you've got to find balances. You know, because I used to game hardcore, like, when I was definitely younger. And I would spend, like, days playing video games and lose, like, track of time and sleep. And
shaking my head at him right now.
It's not healthy. I'm not like that anymore. Hell, I barely touch my consoles.
That's very true.
I might play an average, like, a week. I don't know, maybe like 2 hours.
If that, honestly. If that. Most of the time, the only time you really do it is when I'm getting ready, because it takes me quite a longer amount of time to get ready. Yeah, that's pretty much
it, because, you know, when we're in the room, you know, we're watching movies together, or, you know, watching television together. And because I want to do, like, when we're together, I want us to do us things.
Yeah, because we have to be intentional with our time because it's so limited.
Exactly. And that's the point with the video games. Make sure that you don't neglect nobody else. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're like a young teenager or somebody in their early 20s that's single, by all means, if that's your hobby, go for it. Mm-hmm. You can dedicate yourself to that. But if you're a dad or mom, because there's women that play video games. Like, we ran into, what's her name last night at Target?
Ashley?
Yeah, Ashley. Ashley Wren. And she's a gamer. A very avid gamer. Which, you know, I guess it's kind of rare with women. But
it is kind of more rare than.
But there's nothing wrong with it. Like, you still got to, maintain your relationships with people. Mm-hmm. And especially if you're a parent, you can take that and spend time with your kid.
Yeah.
But make sure that that's not all the kid does. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just find healthy ways around video games. That's all I'm saying about it.
I am in total agreement.
But if you're not artsy, how do you know? Is my question. If you say that you're not artsy because you can't draw a stick figure, maybe you're artsy in a different way. There's more than just making pictures.
There are so many forms of art.
Yeah, I mean, you might have like an eye for photography. You might be very good at staining wood. Mm-hmm. You might, God only knows, you might actually be good physically making things, like with art, like clay or something like that.
Like pottery, yeah.
Yeah, pottery or something like that. You might be.
Ooh, that sounds like a fun thing to explore.
Maybe one day.
We'll get all ghost in here.
Lord. But you don't know until you try.
Right.
And don't just say, oh, I'm not good at that. Because if you say that, you've already defeated yourself.
Yeah.
To the point where don't try it because you're not good at it. You're never going to be good at it. With a mindset like that, not going to happen.
Right. And like we said, like you probably will try something that you're not good at, and that's okay. Like you're one step closer to finding what you are good at and what you can implement in your life.
Right, because you won't know until you try. I mean, who knows? You might like putting cars together. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't know until you start looking into it or you start trying it. Me personally, I know I'm not. I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy, pal.
I'm not your pal guy.
I'm not your pal guy. Hey, buddy. Love South Park. We're getting back on track. Just try to do something that makes you happy because life's too short not to enjoy the little time we get here on this earth.
Yeah.
Because you're going to wake up one day and you're not going to be able to get out of bed. And you might have that what if. And I never want that what if moment. Like,
right.
What if I would have never tried, like, what if I would have tried jiu-jitsu? What if I would have tried boxing? What if I would have spent a little bit more time on the house? What if?
I just took psychology last semester, and we learned about. I wish that I could recall what it's called, but it was talking about when you are older and you're kind of close to the end of your life. There's a specific terminology for looking back and having a lot of regret and sadness and on the things that you didn't do. And then there's the opposite side of people that really lived their life and tried new things and did all these things. And they feel content and happy at the end of their life. And that's what I want. I want to get to the end of my life and be like, I'm so happy and content with what I did. I tried new things. I went new places. I had these experiences. And I can't really ask for more. Like, even if I don't do all the things that I want to do, I put myself out there and I tried.
Right. Exactly. Last year, 2022, I made a deal with myself that I was going to go to as many concerts as possible. And goddamn, I think
we should count it up.
30?
At least. And with Blue Ridge, like, do you count each different band we saw, or do you count that as like one concert?
I mean, technically it's a festival, but if I count how many, like, if you go by bands total, God, I don't know, at least 100.
We saw so many. It was so much fun.
Like, 2022 is one of those years that was really good to me. Like, it was a healing year is how I look at it.
Oh, I love that.
But I knew to tie this in because people are like, oh, he's drifting off again.
Listen, we will tell you now we're famous for that.
Yeah.
Rabbit trails for days.
But the rabbit trail leads back because concerts bring me happiness. It brings me joy. there's nothing like going to a concert and having fun.
Yeah.
And I knew
listening to live music. Oh.
Yeah. And I knew that was like something I needed in my life, and it's something I wanted in my life, and it's something I put into my life because I neglected it, and I didn't let myself have that happiness for the longest time.
I was about to say the same thing. Like I've always loved going to live concerts, like listening to live music. It's it just brings me so much happiness.
Right.
But it was something that I didn't allow myself to do for years, for so much of my life. I went to more concerts with you last year than I have in my entire life put together.
Same here. I mean, I've been to a lot of concerts in my life, but last year was the most I've ever consecutively went to. And in the process, I've made a lot of good memories.
Yeah.
Like, when I'm old, I can look back at 2022 and think of all the good times. Like, just good memories. But the thing is if I never took the time and just drowned myself in sorrow and sadness,
you would have missed out on all of those
I would have
amazing
missed
memories.
out on all those opportunities.
Yeah.
And all those amazing moments. Like, I got to see one of my favorite hardcore bands, Bleeding Through. Not only did I get to see him like front row, but like the lead singer was like out in the crowd, and I got video of like everybody in the pit like just singing the song and everything together, and that's mine to hold on to forever.
Yeah.
But if I would have never stepped out of my sadness and my darkness and went to enjoy the things that make me happy and then brings happiness to my life, I wouldn't have that.
Right.
Like, okay, you don't have a hobby that you're good at. Try going to a concert. You might wind up being what do they call them? Pit crew or something like that. Like the group of people that always like gets together and goes to concerts.
Yeah. I don't know what it's called, but I know what you're saying.
That's what they call it, or I think it's called pit crew. I don't know. I'm not. John and Jess is a part of it.
Okay.
And they pretty much like go to all the concerts and make sure like when the pit's going on, yeah, it's
the pit crew.
If you're not avid heavy music listener like me, at these shows you have your mosh pits and these people pushing each other and hitting each other, circle pits and stuff like that. And the crew pretty much separates them, and helps them up and, make sure everybody has a good time and nobody takes it personally.
And they also kind of protect the people around them. So like when they get a little wild, they like kind of push them back into the pit.
Yeah. And but those are some people that might have had a darkness in their life. They went to the show and then they saw these pit crew and they're like, oh, I would love to be a part of this. Yeah. And then now they have this happiness in their life because they decided to reach out and go to this show. And then, you have this family, and then now y'all have something in common. Now you have people in your life that bring you happiness and fulfillment. But you wouldn't know unless you take that first step.
As fun as the pit crew sounds, I think I'm a little too small for that.
I'm a little too fucking old for that shit. Don't get me wrong, I've had my days in the pit, and I'm done. No more. No bueno.
No bueno.
No bueno.
No dice, squirrel man.
No dice, squirrel man.
So, I was thinking about finding joy. We talked a lot about hobbies, but there's some practical things I think that people could implement in their lives, like
drugs. I'm kidding.
Listen, Linda.
Don't do drugs.
I mean, okay, but we are an advocate for medication. If that's something that you need, if you have
if you've got a legitimate reason. If you've got a
chemical imbalance in your brain, there's no shame in going to the doctor and getting something to balance you back out. I just want to say that we are 100% for that. Recreational drugs, though, that's on you, boo. You do you. But no. So I think one practical step is just to practice gratitude. So there's been times where I was in, a really negative headspace, and I just started sitting down and I would make a list every day of what I'm grateful for that day. And some days that list looked exactly the same as the day before, and sometimes it looked completely different. I literally one day wrote down that I'm grateful for the sun because sunshine is healing to me. And I think, when you practice gratitude, you can literally train your brain to feel joy more often. And it's we've talked a lot about what you focus on, you attract. We were talking about that today in the car. Something that I saw on TikTok that I have implemented into my life.
Both of us, actually.
Yeah. So it was really funny. Okay, so the first video I saw was a girl talking about a video that she saw of these two girls sitting in their car eating like ramen or like some kind of Chinese noodle thing. And they were saying that they started saying to themselves, I'm so lucky and everything just always works out for me. And when they started doing that, positive things started happening in their lives. So they just repeat that to themselves all the time and they say it out loud, and it has created this like positive movement in their life. And she said, I started doing the same thing and I'm having great results. And I know that sounds a little woo-woo, but I started practicing it just because, for one, what can it hurt? What is it going to hurt by speaking that out into the universe? And for me, it's done the opposite of hurting. It has helped. And there's been some amazing things happening in my life that I truly believe that there's power in our words.
Yes.
And what you focus on, you attract. So if I'm sitting here thinking about negative things, that's all I'm going to see is the negativity. Even if there's positive things happening to me, all I'm going to be able to focus on is the negative. But if I am trying my best to stay focused on the positive, it will allow me to recognize when positive things are actually happening and start focusing more on that. And that is going to make more and more positive things happen.
Yeah, 100%. I've been doing the same thing, except for I misheard you. And what does that say to myself? I
have a good life.
I have a good life and everything works out for me.
Yeah. Which is the same thing. It's it's your words that you're speaking out that you are, speaking into existence.
Yeah. And so far, 2023 has been pretty good. Mm-hmm. I mean, and I know the year just started, but I'm going to still keep the same positive mentality.
Yeah, it creates a cycle of positive emotions and positive energy.
Yeah. Which I wasn't too big on, but now I am.
I've converted you.
Yeah, I think it's necessary to try to keep in a positive mind state.
Yeah.
I know people are like, well, you've never probably been through something traumatic. Well,
you'd be wrong, my friend.
You'd be very, very fucking wrong. Because, like I said, I'm not going to tell you to do anything that I wouldn't do personally myself.
Right.
I just don't believe in it. I don't know. It's probably why I've never been sergeant. But yeah, you've got to dig deep, even in your dark days, because the quote from The Crow, it can't rain all the time. Mm-hmm. The sun's going to come out sooner or later.
Yeah. And with okay, so you listen to this podcast and you're like, okay, well, I'll try the gratitude thing, but there's just nothing in my life to be grateful for. Start by writing down, I'm so grateful I woke up this morning. Because you did, and you didn't have to. Waking up is a gift. So maybe start there. I'm grateful to be able to breathe today. I'm grateful that the wind is blowing or the sun is shining. And eventually you're going to notice as you keep practicing this, you're going to have a whole list of things that you're grateful for because you're going to start recognizing them more.
100%.
And I think another tangible practice that people can do is if you're kind of stuck in negativity or sadness, force yourself, this is going to sound funny, but force yourself to smile. Change your physiology. When you smile, even if you're sad, you're telling your brain that you're happy. And it's going to create some change.
I know somebody's probably like, well, that's just faking it. And sometimes you have to.
Yeah. You almost have to trick your brain because you can literally train your brain. That's what's so, our bodies are so wild. But you can also fix your posture. stand up, put your shoulders back, maybe stand in a power move. That is going to completely change your demeanor.
Yeah, walk with confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you don't, confidence will come eventually.
Yep.
I mean, I know it's hard if somebody's listening to this and they're like in like the mental aspect of, well, I'm so sad it hurts to breathe. And I say that in knowing because I was there. And if you're at that point, you got to start trying to find something that makes you happy. You gotta put whatever thing that is making you sad, depressed, or is hurting you, you've got to put it aside. You can. If I can do it, you can do it. Mm-hmm. And I was at that point. And if you have a friend that you used to do something with a lot, reach out to that friend.
Yeah. Reach
out to people. There's nothing wrong with it. That's the best way to help get out of a bad situation is reaching out. Because
having like a support system.
Yeah. And if you say you don't have a support system, I understand. But there's somebody, I guarantee you, that's willing to listen to you out there.
That's right. And please, like we've said this before, but please feel free to reach out to one of us. We'll link our email in the description.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I'll talk to anybody. Like, you want to talk about sad shit? Let's talk about sad shit. But we're going to talk about sad shit, but only for so long, because we're going to focus on trying to make those, black clouds go away.
Yeah.
We're not going to dwell on them.
And I think, because I've been there too. I've been in that moment. But there comes a time when you live in darkness for so long that you finally kind of get fed up with your own shit, and something has to change something changes in you that's like, I can't live this way anymore.
Yeah.
I've got to make a change because I cannot live this way anymore. And I think that's as hard of a moment in your life as that is the stepping stone to completely changing your life around.
Absolutely.
So if you feel like you're in that moment where I cannot live this way anymore, focus that energy into, I can't live this way anymore. What can I do to change it?
Yeah.
And then start trying things.
Yep. 100%. Like, you've got to dig into something that brings you happiness, because that's the only way you're going to turn this shit around.
Yep.
Speaking from personal experience. So go make something of yourself. Like, go find your hobby, your passion. There's something out there, whether it be art, dancing, sports. I don't suggest gambling, but hey, you do you.
And there's so much power too. I think the healing energy of the world. Get outside, go hiking, go for a walk, go get in the water and learn how to canoe. There's so many, kayak, whatever. There's so many things. There's so many outlets for you to explore. It's endless.
Yeah, you just got to put in the effort. I think a lot of people don't realize how much effort they put into being sad.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, you put, and this is speaking personal experience. You put so much effort into being sad and you don't realize it. You're probably thinking that being sad is effortless, but it's not. You're choosing to listen to the sad music. You're choosing to look at ex's old photos. You're choosing to not do something that makes you happy. You're choosing not to answer the phone calls when people check on you. Mm-hmm. That is choosing and putting effort into not doing it, because it takes just as much effort to ignore a call that it does to answer.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't want to talk to nobody that day, that's understandable.
Call them tomorrow.
Text them, though. Tell them, be like, look, right now's not a good time for me mentally. Love you, but I will talk to you tomorrow. I'm fine.
Yeah.
and then pick it up tomorrow. But you're probably putting more effort into being sad than you are aware of.
Yep.
I know I was like that when I went through one of my hard breakups. I was sitting there dwelling, like putting so much effort into staying sad. Then when I realized what I was doing, I was like, fuck this shit. Because
you hit that point.
Yeah, it's one or two things you're going to do. You're either going to say, fuck this, or worse. And that's when you decide to unalive yourself. And that, to me, is never an option. It should never be an option. Let me say that. It should never be an option because there's so much great things in this world to be grateful for and so much beauty for you to see that you don't realize. And all you got to do is just dig out the sadness, put joy in your life, and you'll be surprised at how things turn around for you. Mm-hmm. Don't focus on like, well, such and such has a great life. Fuck such and such.
Yeah.
You're not such and such. You're not in their shoes. So quit focusing on them and their happiness. Because by focusing on them and their happiness, you can't see yours.
Right. That's a great point.
So, find your happiness.
Find your happiness. Go try a new hobby. If it doesn't work, try another one. Smile more. Force yourself to smile. Stand up tall. You've got this. We've got you. Reach out if you need to.
Absolutely. On that note, we want to say thank you for tuning in to episode 2 of Perseverance to Prevail. I'm James.
I'm Leanna.
Be good. Be safe. Be the best version of you.